My name is Leslie Williams, and today's date is January 23rd, 2012, and it's almost midnight. It's probably about 10:45. Not being able to see me is not important. This video is for mature audiences. It's really for anybody, but if you want to dismiss this video because you can't see me, that's your choice. This video is probably one of the most literally important videos you'll ever listen to in your life, literally. And if you stay with this video, you'll come to see what I'm about to say in reference to the education. And if you stay with this video, I guarantee you will be glad you did. It is to explain to you exactly how electronic harassment works and the sophisticated technology that is running it. Remote neural monitoring is directly connected to the electronic harassment. Artificial intelligence, remote neural monitoring, the computer-to-brain feedback loop, all are combined in one computer network. In order for the remote neural monitor to literally monitor a target's evoked potentials, and then the artificial software that runs the entire network, what it is the remote neural monitoring and the computer-to-brain feedback loop, okay, work hand in hand, okay? The remote neural monitor monitors your evoked potentials. What is remote neural monitoring? It is a monitor that neurally monitors you, okay? As a result of what is read from the monitor in reference to how it's remotely neurally monitoring you, your evoked potentials are read. As a result of your evoked potentials being read by the monitor, the computer then at that time selects certain programmed responses in reference to what the monitor reads. Now the monitor reads the evoked potentials of a target. It then allows the computer that is run by the artificial intelligence to decipher what it's reading, and then to select using voice algorithm voice prints that are incorporated within the software. It's anywhere usually between 3 to 6 voice prints of specific individuals. These voice algorithm voice prints are nothing but what they are, voice algorithm voice prints. And what they do is that they're incorporated within the software in order to fool targets into making targets believe that it's actually people harassing a target from a distance. And how does this work? The remote neural monitoring is able to literally read a target's evoked potentials before they're even fully processed into the consciousness. A person's internal language and thoughts are processed up through the unconscious, through the preconscious, and then to the consciousness. 3 layers. Okay? And a person's thought processes are basically developed through a person's perceptions, their senses. Your body, through your vision and through your ears, okay, takes in the environment, scrutinizes the information, and then develops understanding in reference to how your senses are taking in the information and how your brain is deliberating it in an unconscious awareness mode, usually through the right brain. That information is then scrutinized in a pretty fast fashion through the unconscious, up through the preconscious, and it is in between these 2 layers that subvocal speeches begins to become attached to the deliberations. And this is how the formation of your thoughts come into fruition. As it's coming up through the preconsciousness into the consciousness, internal dialogue is automatically attached to the syntax which holds the thoughts. The remote neural monitor reads the evoked potentials as it's coming up through the unconscious, through the preconscious. Okay, that's why, and then it scrutinizes the information in relation to the evoked potentials, and then the software picks out the best appropriate harassing response to the targets based on those evoked potentials before the targets even finish processing the evoked potentials in from the preconscious to the consciousness. That's why if you go to UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com and look under the TI symptoms webpage, you'll clearly see that targets are even harassed about their evoked potentials before they're even self-aware fully of what they are. The woman that does the NYC Chronicles YouTube videos in reference to her evoked potentials mentions the same thing in a couple of her videos. And what I mean by that is that she literally flat out says that she is being harassed about her evoked potentials before her thoughts are even complete. Listen to her videos thoroughly, then review the UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com webpage under the TI symptoms, and you'll come fully aware that it's nothing but a computer that is basically running on trillions of flops per second in reference to how it's taking in the information, picking an appropriate response, and then responding back to the evoked potentials that are read trillions of times faster than the human brain processes information. Two things that have brought me to the understanding of how I know that this is nothing but, it's called the computer link in the remote neural monitoring file, but it's what it really is the computer to bring feedback loop. And one of the main things that showed me that this was a computer were two things. I studied the brain extensively, trying to make sure that I could figure out how my learning styles, because I'm right-brained. And when you're going to college and you're being taught in the classroom through left brain methods, I had to compensate and try to figure out a learning strategy in order to be able to compensate for the deficiencies in reference to how it was harder for me to learn because I was being taught in left brain teaching styles. So I did a lot of investigating in the brain, and since I got dyslexia, I had to investigate that in its entirety, along with ADHD in its entirety. As a result of that, and also taking electronics, electronics is basically nothing but electrons that run through a schematic, whether it be a parallel circuit, a series parallel circuit, a combination circuit, a Wheatstone bridge circuit, whatever. Then, as a result of studying the brain and the bioelectric aspects of the brain, it was very easy for me to learn that very fast because both subject matters had pictorial representation. Now, the reason why I bring this up is very clear. If I was listen to this. If I was sitting across the table from someone and they were talking to me, I would then have to deliberate what he's saying. Okay, and then as a result of deliberating what he's saying, these processes of deliberation, because I'm hearing what he's saying through my senses, which I've already discussed, how we take information in through our senses. I would then have to deliberate what he's saying through my unconscious and my preconscious, and then once the deliberation started making conclusions, the thought processes start to come in awareness, and language is automatically associated to it. Then I would make a restatement based on what he said. Okay, in other words, I would have a reply. Well, what the monitor does is that the monitor is literally already replying to your evoked potentials before they're even brought into conscious awareness, which is where between the preconscious and the consciousness attaches language to it. So if they're already harassing a target based on their evoked potentials before their evoked potentials are brought into self-conscious awareness, that automatically tells me it's a computer, because of the simple fact that if it was a person, they would have to wait until my thoughts were complete and read on the monitor. Then they would have to deliberate a response and then verbalize that response. By then, my evoked potentials would already be in conscious awareness. So how could I be harassed about an evoked potential that's not even totally complete in consciousness set before it's even totally self-aware? If a human being is scrutinizing what my evoked potentials are in real time, because he would have to wait until they're complete, then he would have to deliberate a response, and then he would have to form a response up through his brain and then verbalize it. By then, my evoked potential would have been way, way past being completed, and he would then have to take the time to deliberate a response and then formulate one and then actually verbally respond it. By then, it would have been way past. It would have been, my evoked potentials would have been already processed up through my consciousness long before he even had the ability to be able to respond to the evoked potential. So this automatically tells me that it's a computer, because the computer is operating trillions of times faster than the human brain is in order for them to be able to harass me about an evoked potential that's not even in full conscious awareness yet. 2, the voice prints, they never make a boo-boo. And what do I mean by that? Through 10 years of hearing electronic harassment on a daily basis, I noticed certain things that I wasn't hearing in what would be in a normal environment for 3 to 4 people, like how I said, that it would be anywhere between 3 to 6 voice prints. I've never heard coughing in the background. I've never heard the water running, toilets flushing, sneezing. I never heard any background noise that would help me understand that these are people somewhere sitting in a room watching a monitor and then harassing me based on what they ascertain through the monitoring. In other words, after 10 years of electronic harassment, I never heard no normal background noise. No coughing, no sneezing, no clearing the throat, no swearing, no dogs barking, no water running, no toilet flushing. And some of the voice print, at least 1 to 2 of the voice prints were a child's voice print. Now this has been going on for 10 years. That child's voice has never grown up. Why would a child's voice not grow up? That's another signal that told me that this was a computer. And I was able to understand that and realize that long before I even discovered what remote neural monitoring was. Now, I want you to understand something. My name is Leslie Williams, and all you have to do is go to YouTube and type in electronic harassment and thoroughly listen to it. There's one YouTube video. There's one person that does some YouTube videos. He goes by the name of Mars Boy. That's part of what his YouTube channel is. He wears a white shirt, a tie, and he's got black hair. He discusses the computer-to-brain feedback loop about how a target is harassed in a non-stop stream of harassment. And this is basically what me and my fellow targets have to put up with on a non-stop basis. They're directly connected to gang stalkers, okay? The people that are the people who do these things, that are running the remote neural monitoring, the original, and what I mean by original is that the bona fide gang stalkers, the ones who are actually syndicated gang stalkers, the managers and hosts and directors of the gang stalking crews, are in contact with the people that run the remote neural monitoring, because I've already ascertained this by basically attempting to, like at times I thought to myself, I'm going to pull out my video camera and take a picture of this guy engaging in a gang stalking tactic, like the physical gestures that they engage in for a target to see, that they sensitize targets to. I think to myself, I'm going to get out my video camera while they're doing it, and as I go to reach in my pocket to get it out after I've had the thought that I'm going to do it, the person that I go to do it with, take the picture of, takes his hands away from his face. That's the physical gesture I'm in reference to. And this is because that person who has got their hands to their face is working on a computer. That's how they're communicating with them. That and on their cell phones. 9.5 times out of 10 when I go to take a video picture of a gang stalker that's bothering me over at the University of San Diego and what they do is they deliberately sit around me and engage in these physical gestures so I see them. That's what makes targets feel harassed and stalked. But every single time they do this, they're literally and directly sitting in front of the laptop. I turn, I see their physical gestures, I think to myself, I'm going to get out my video camera to take a picture of while they're doing it. As a result of having that thought, by the time I put my hand in my pocket to go get my video camera out, they take their hand down. Every single time. So that tells me that these bona fide syndicated gang stalkers that are over there doing that are in direct contact with the people who are using the remote neural monitoring. My name is Leslie Williams. Go to Google and type in remote neural monitoring, and then go to YouTube and type in remote neural monitoring, and come to understand that this is factual technology that is literally being used against those gang stalking targets, and the fact that it's patented technology and that it's all over the internet, that it's happening to hundreds of thousands of Americans, can flat out literally show anybody that's capable of common sense, deductive reasoning, or analytical processing. You can become self-aware that this technology exists and that it's happening and being used in such criminal expeditions towards target. Just the simple fact that it's on the internet and hundreds of thousands of targets are experiencing it should tell you that I'm telling the truth. My name is Leslie Williams, January 23rd, 2012.